Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Lili Fifield, and you're watching Somos Uno. Every show, we strive to shed light on individuals in our diverse San Diego community. This week was no different. I had the opportunity to interview a few special guests discussing everything from makeup and design to real estate and the markets. Starting off, I spoke with celebrity makeup artist Quinn, followed by stylist and designer duo brothers Jesus and Antonio Estrada. Finally, we dove into the real estate and lending process with husband and wife Carlos Gutierrez and Jeannete Lizarraga. Stay tuned. This is Somos Uno. Joining us now is a man who helped to launch Giorgio Armani's cosmetic line 16 years ago. He's a celebrity makeup artist and has worked with artists from Diane Lane to Megan Fox and recently collaborating with the Latino industry. He believes that in hard times, you have to put your best face forward, literally. So today he's here to give us some tips on the first impressions and look inspirations. Joining me now is celebrity makeup artist Quinn. Thanks
Good
for
morning.
being here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So I'm very excited because you brought all these amazing products, but before we get to that, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Oh, how long do you have? Well, yeah, so I'm the celebrity makeup artist for Armani, but a big part of my life is all about giving back and helping. Whether it's young, old, people going through treatments. You know, I'm a cancer survivor, so a big part of my life is dedicated to that. I work in the autism world now. I work with a lot with, you know, as you
have a challenge going.
We do. We have the Sit Up for Autism Challenge, which my partner and I, Marla, started, which is really kind of just like to get awareness out there.
Yes,
and we make these incredible shirts that promote the idea. There's nothing, it takes 2 minutes, you can do 11 sit-ups or give $11.
But it's to get the thought.
It's just to make people understand that I think that, you know, there's a world of, on the spectrum of autism, of people who are very fortunate and some who aren't so. And what we do in our world is giving back to help the people who don't have access to what it takes to, you know, move forward.
And I feel like you're always giving back. Although you don't speak too much about it, I know personal experience that you're a giver, and I know that you help a lot of people, not only through these organizations, but through makeup, you're able to help people.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like my big joy. You know, when I had my cancer moment and I, you know, realized I was actually going to survive, I thought, oh, I'm going to go, like, you know, work with, you know, Africa or something, and I was like, Oprah's not doing enough or something. And then I realized what I actually do in makeup, because it brings joy to people's lives. And, you know, I do it with, you know, cancer patients. I do it with my mom, who has become like a viral superstar herself because she has, you know, developed some issues with depression and we're not sure what else. But when you apply makeup, it kind of like brings you back to life. And what I find at any age is that when you present the best version of yourself, people respond to you differently. And I think that it's so important, and I'd love to do that to help people find the best version of themselves.
So it's not that it's anything superficial. It's just bringing that inner beauty.
Right, it's bringing forward, you know, I experienced it firsthand when I was sick because I lost my hair. I was 30 pounds lighter. I didn't realize until I got in an elevator one day and people kind of stepped back and I realized that there's this whole visceral thing that happens. And you know, I was fortunate I didn't have to work, but a lot of the women I work with and men, you know, they have to go to work every day, and you know, it's like your best dress. Like when you have the perfect black dress or the perfect thing, you feel a little more confident. So it's the same idea.
Well, I love it. I know that you've not only done that in your personal life, but you've been able to do it through your work. You have some amazing products here today that a lot of people can learn a lot from. A lot of people are very confused how to put that best face forward. So
well, because I think sometimes, especially young people, like we learn like either from like your mom, and then you don't want to look like your mom, or you know you're looking at Instagram, which isn't real.
Oh no.
So you know it's like the touch
and then they all
play.
look the same. You have to work with your features.
Yeah, and it's like I think it's enjoying what you are. You know, skincare is such an important part of people's lives. You know, I live in the sun. You know.
Yes.
You know, skin cancer has become, you know, one of the top cancers in the world. You know, what you can do with SPF is, you know, preventative. I didn't know that when I was a kid. You know, I still keep baking myself. Playing with color, I think that, you know, this world of like playful, it's just makeup, you can wash it off. And it's an accessory you can buy. You can buy a lipstick, matte lipsticks like huge this fall. It's a quick way to change up your whole look. You know, I think one of the most important things is finding complexion that works. And we have 30 shades of Luminous Silk, which is still the best-selling foundation in the world.
Which I'm a fan of.
Right? But it can match anyone. And I think that that's, you know, sometimes people are afraid of foundation because they feel like they don't know how to, you know, find the undertone and make it work.
And I know you've also told me younger makeup artists, now we're looking up to you, reaching out to you.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
Through Instagram mainly, which is so funny.
Yeah.
I'll get these random messages. Because there's no clear path. You know, when I started, I have a degree in economics. Like, I didn't know I wanted to be, you know, a makeup artist. And I feel like that one of the things that happens with young people is that they feel so limited. I think, you know, there's so many opportunities, you don't know where to hone in.
Yeah.
And so what? Try it. If you don't like it in a few years, you know, do something else. You know, I'm not sure this is it. You know, that's why, like, I keep moving forward. You know, and be playful with it, and you know, take every opportunity. I've never said no. Like, I recently was doing an interview and I talked about when my life started to change is when I just said yes.
Like this perfume. It's called
like si passione, right? It's like say si. It's like this a whole like European way of living, or you know the twins that I work. You know, like I think they adopted me. The more I'm around young people who are inspired, and I see what the passion is, which is why I love the passione, is that whatever passion's in you, you can't let it like be squashed.
And it happens with age for a lot of people.
It happens with age. It happens with economic factors. It happens with, I mean, everybody's going to go through something. And I think that the more that you have this inner strength and surround yourself with people who support you and lift you up, and I think that's so important. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the people who are going to keep you down. You know, honestly, I find that most people, they surround themselves with people who don't want you to do better. They act like they're so there in your corner, and yet they don't want to see you get better than them because it makes them feel bad about themselves. And you don't have to feel bad about aspiring to do whatever it is in life you want.
I love that.
You know?
I think that's a beautiful message to end on. I'm so fortunate to know you and to know some of our mutual friends that's what you're about. I feel like your message is to help people grow, and you've gotten to a point in your life where you're able to do that, and I think it's beautiful that you do.
Yeah, I think that we all need that opportunity. You know, I think that you can't be limited by what you think your background is, right? And
that's the point of the show, Somos Uno. We are all one.
Absolutely, and we're more and more all one, you know, and I feel like the more you can, do to help others, it only does something to help yourself.
That's right. I couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much for being with us, Tim.
My pleasure.
Introducing S1 Connect by Synergy One Lending, a company committed to making your home buying experience easy and convenient. S1 Connect is the best way to simplifying your home buying experience so that you can get your dream home faster. Whether you're a baby boomer, a millennial, or a luxury home buyer, S1 Connect offers you the opportunity to receive real-time notifications about your home loan so that you're informed every step of the way. Apply for a loan from anywhere. Compare various loan scenarios to help determine which product best fits your needs. Track your home loan progress with real-time notifications. Safely and securely upload loan documents from your mobile device. And have instant access to your loan officer and real estate agent. Basically, we're all about speed, ease, and expertise at Synergy One, so download the S1 Connect app today. To learn more about S1 Connect, visit us at s1lending.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to find out everything we have going on at Synergy One Lending.
In the world of fashion, designer twins are not common, and this duo designs are just as unique as they are. Custom designers Jesus and Antonio Estrada have developed a reputation for designing unique, fashion-forward custom pieces. With Jesus first coming to the spotlight in Season 7 of Project Runway, and Antonio following right behind on an international documentary, these two seem unstoppable, and I'm very fortunate to have them here with me today. Antonio, Jesus, thank you so much for joining me. We've known each other for a few years.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, guys.
And congratulations for this amazing, I feel like it's a dream come true to have this segment of yours. So thank you for having us.
It really is. Giving a little history, I've met you guys going on 10 years now, and you guys were barely starting your careers as designers. So tell the audience a little bit about that.
You know, I think we've always known that we wanted to be fashion designers. My mom says we were two making Barbie clothes. So, you know, it's like it was in our blood growing up. But I was very fortunate to be selected to be on Project Runway, and that really was what launched my career. After finishing filming, my brother was actually doing all the hair and makeup for me for my fashion shows. You remember that? Yeah. And
I was one of the guinea pigs.
Yeah, I was just very, very fortunate to just be surrounded by so many people that have inspired me and pushed me to be who I was, because you know how I grew up. You know, grew up very humble and in humble towns and tough beginnings. And we are now designing together because we realized that two brains think better than one, and he was already kind of like assisting me in fashion. And then one day I was like, after he came back from filming the documentary, I was like, we need to design together because, you know, we created this masterpiece. I think you posted it on your social media, the yellow dress, which was like a touch of Antonio, like grandiosity and like designs, you know. And then my skill in like tailoring and fit to perfection has always been like a big trait that I've carried on through my career. But yeah, we're very, very excited because we've been working on a lot of projects, and at the end of the day, I think we've landed like one of our most very unique projects, which is giving back to people. And we've been very fortunate to work with this organization, Peace, Love, Solve, that provides really funding for a lot of different charities. You know, you could be affected by cancer, or, you know, you could be affected by having kids with autism, or like, you know, my adopted grandparents, you know, one of them has MS. So we're helping design T-shirts, and these T-shirts are going to be sold on websites and stuff, and then the funds are going to go to support those causes.
So where can people, you're wearing one,
Yeah,
right?
I'm actually wearing one. Actually, there's two people that run the show. It's Tim, Quinn, and Marla. And this actually, it's very touchy to me because Tim, Quinn's brother, passed away, and this logo was actually designed for him. So in memory of him, I wanted to wear this because I know it means a lot to Tim and the organization. And it's a foot of a harem.
Okay,
one woman,
I thought it was like a peace sign.
Yeah, it's a peace sign, but the inside is a foot of a harem because a lady, a psychic, said that he was going to come back in another life as a harem. So this is one of the designs. So, you know, people could like go online, peacelovesolve.com, and shop this shirt.
That's beautiful. I feel like you guys have finally gotten to a point in your career where you have more liberty to just do what you want, and it looks like giving back is one of those things. But you guys, I feel, have the strongest work ethic. I feel like I'm a pretty hard worker, but your work ethic is what has gotten you to where you're at. What do you think? It's like people have influenced you, but also your work ethic. I know you've had a lot of mentors along the way. What do you think's gotten you to this point?
I think, like you said, like that word is so powerful. We're unstoppable. And I think, you know, being twins and having the same passion that we have for fashion and beauty, and just, you know, we really are very passionate of what we do. And we've been very lucky that we had a lot, you know, through our career, a lot of mentors and a lot of people that actually believe in us. And, you know, they find that genuine like side of us because, you know, we love to give to like as you said, like Peace, Love, Solve. And, you know, when we work with artists too, I told my brother, we love what we do so much in fashion that it's not really about the money. It's about the experience and how we've been growing.
I've never seen it that way with you guys. I think it's always been your passion, and that's what drives everything. And I feel like that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, I think also it's very important, like, you know, we're Mexican, and then coming to America, like, to basically live the American dream. You know, it sounds so cliche.
You really have.
Yeah,
we are living it.
We really tell people, like, we're living the American dream, and they're like, what do you mean the American? No, like, you know, we were born in Mexico. You know, we just became citizens. I have a really great story, actually, like 2 years ago, and I was with Tim Quinn, which is one of our biggest mentors, someone that's really guiding us of where we are now. And we were at the Oscars 2 years ago, and Joe Biden was giving Lady Gaga the award at the Oscars, and I had the opportunity to work with Tim and assist in doing Joe Biden's makeup, and then Joe was getting a haircut, and I had this big moment with him when, you know, you have to study these 100 questions, and all of a sudden he's like, it's so hard. All of a sudden he's like, so who's the Speaker of the House? I froze. I have, you know, the Vice President of the United States asking me that question. I froze, and I can in the back of my head, I can hear Tim, don't let me down, don't let me down. And I was like, Paul Ryan! And you know, it was like a big moment. We cried with him. He actually gave a phone call to his parents because it's like the same, you know, the same thing that we have about giving back. Tim is very passionate about that too, giving back. So, you know, he's done a lot with the Bidens and organizations and stuff like that. So it was a big moment for us too. And, you know, now we're citizens, so.
To see it just kind of full circle from where you've come and just having that moment, fortunate enough, with Joe Biden, that's pretty amazing. I know you guys have worked with a lot of bigger people, some big artists that you're working with right now.
Yeah, so, I mean, we were working with Diane Lane. I got hired to be her stylist. I was very fortunate because that was like an A-lister that we got to dress her for the Elton John gala. Yeah. You know,
big deal.
Yeah,
I actually ended up seeing it on another talk show. So
yeah, Wendy Williams. we did a dress her for Wendy Williams. But right now, we're actually kind of like very, very, like, we're still kind of like pinching ourselves. You know, we're working with Alejandra Guzman. We're working on, you know, her new music coming out. She's actually a breast cancer survivor. So
I didn't know.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of work with that as well. You know, she's doing the voice with Telemundo. Yes. So we're gonna be styling her for that. Antonia's gonna be doing her hair, makeup. Like it's gonna be an amazing experience. And you know, it's very important for me to always go back to where I started because it all started with the dream. So for me, it's very important to keep that message throughout my career because all your dreams can come true if you work hard and if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
So
you guys are living proof of that. I mean, I thought it was amazing when you guys finally went into bird ops. That was
an amazing experience. So the New York Post did a story on us, and literally the next morning it came out. It was supposed to come out on Monday's paper, but it went online on Sunday night, and we kept getting phone calls. Like all Sunday, like, oh my God, did you see it? We woke up Monday morning to an email from Bird of Goodman, and I couldn't believe it. Me and Jesus are driving to our studio to work, and I was like, oh my God, BG just emailed us. You know, they want to meet with us. They love the story. They read the story. Yeah. So that was something very surreal. And
it was just like an awesome experience, you know, like being in the fashion industry now and just, you know, getting to meet so many people that's their dream. Like once you're a bird dog, you've literally made a mark in the fashion industry.
Well, prior to being in Bird Doors, we have a fairy godmother. We call her Mother Darling. That she's walking the 4th floor of Bird Doors with Jesus, and Jesus turns to her, and with his face, he was like, "One day I'm going to be here," and it only took a year. Yeah, it only took a year, and she still reminds us. Remember that day when we were doing this?
It was a dream. Then we worked hard and we made it happen.
Well, from the time that I've known you guys have pretty much made everything seem like a fairy tale. It's like you guys put your mind to something and it happens. It's not even an option if it's going to happen or not. I think it's beautiful. That's the reason I wanted to have you guys here today. So thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. You guys are close friends, but I'm so fortunate to be able to share your story with everyone.
Thank you so much for having us.
Every client.
Every client.
Every client.
Every client.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
No exceptions.
No exceptions.
No exceptions.
No exceptions.
No excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses.
Every
client.
Every time.
No exceptions.
No excuses.
Well, now we have Carlos and Jeannette here. Thank you so much for being here today, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I want to start off. You guys are both in the real estate world, but I know one of you guys had to get into it before the other. So who started first?
She started lending before I started into real estate, yes.
Okay, Jeannette, we'll start with you. How did you get into this?
You know, in my first life, I was an insurance agent and somehow got introduced to the lending world. And 20 plus years later, here I am. Never left.
That's beautiful. Did you guys meet each other through
No, actually, you would think we would. Everyone asks, did you guys meet through work? No, we met at a fundraiser, I believe.
Yeah. So to let our viewers know, you guys let me in on the little secret. You guys are a little jewel in the real estate market. You guys are married. You guys are a couple. Yes. But you guys work for separate companies, top of the line in yours, it seems like.
Yes, with Coldwell Banker Global Luxury in La Jolla. However, being born and raised in San Diego allows me to know all of San Diego from Oceanside all the way south to San Ysidro.
And you said you're top in your company.
Ranked #1 as an individual agent, so I don't have a big team. I have an assistant, I have a field ops, and myself.
That's
and I
impressive.
Deal directly
That's
with a lot
even
of
harder
sellers.
to do, right?
It is in this world, you know, dealing with so much competition. However, you know, you set your goal, and it's to help people. You have to be people focused.
And what inspired you guys to get into the field?
Well, I got fired when I worked for 13 radio stations.
So that's where that voice comes from. I
yeah.
knew it. When I heard you earlier, I'm like, man, he's got a good voice.
Thank you.
Making me look bad over here.
Did the sales side and
Don't let it get to his head.
Yeah. As my parole officer will always say. We had a little personality conflict, and it was the best thing that ever happened. I wish, you know, I thank him, the person that fired me, and going, God, only if it happened a couple years before, because it was about 2004, 2005 as the peak of the market happened, and had a friend of mine help me sell a condo the year before, and I go, I could do this.
Yeah.
So
you came in towards the recession?
Right at the peak, and then the recession took place a couple years later.
Wow.
And that's when I had to really get in or get out, and that's when I get into the Mike Ferry coaching, which really made it more about focusing on the client. That's the most important thing, is really focusing about the client. That's what Jeannete does and makes her so successful, I believe, is getting the deal done. And it doesn't matter how big or really how small it is, she's really more based about the client.
So Jeannete, with him coming into this later, have you given him some tips, or how did this all work out?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I work with many real estate agents. I'm like, be gentle on the lenders. It's a lot of work that we do on our end, and sometimes people don't realize the amount of
That's beautiful, because you really do have
do.
to think of the other side. They're going through this big process. It's a lot of stress. You do have to be gentle.
Yeah, and I mean, like he mentioned, no matter how big or small, it's the same experience. It's the same amount of stress. It's the same amount of happiness for the family, and nothing brings me more happiness than getting a family into a house that never thought they'd be able to get in.
And I can imagine, Carlos, when you were coming into it, a lot of people were struggling giving up their homes. That must have been hard.
It happened. We were at the peak when I got in, really. So they were letting, you know, no offense, but your gardener had 5 properties.
Oh, yes.
And it's
Everyone
like
was
7
able.
arms. And,
Yes.
and then when it happened, 2008, 2009, that's when really the bottom fell out. And even personally myself, we weren't together yet then. I lost several properties that I had for years before. However, it was outside of the San Diego marketplace. And when that took place, then it's really, I focused on more real estate based on investing on ourselves after we got together. Is if I can't drive by the property that I own myself, I don't want to buy it.
So you were able to relate to those clients that you got
completely.
after that.
Yes, definitely.
That probably added a little bit to you getting to that position that you're at, so that you're able to have that connection with the client that you have.
That's it. And there's probably the most joy is when you help that client close escrow on that Friday before, and allowing them to get in that weekend before. And it's really the lender. It comes down to the negotiations at the very beginning, but when it comes down to it, really, it's on the lender. So when I'm on the listing side, I'm very hard on the lender up front, because you have so many days. It's going to be 17, 21, and 30 days are the norms, contingency time periods, and then the close. A lot of lenders, and no offense, however, they just sit back and wait to order the appraisal and wait for this and that. And if you're a top agent, you need to be upfront right when that contract gets accepted. You make sure that the lender gets a copy of it, and make sure that every step of the way is done as a listing agent, and that's for the buyers as well.
And that's why Synergy has the best. We don't do that.
And in our defense,
yes,
a lot of times it's not really the lender. It's usually, you know, the buyer. They're dragging their feet on getting some items, or, you know, there's usually a case.
I love this, because we're able to get both views here of what a lot of people might experience purchasing a home, and you guys can let them know what's the real process, what really happens when it gets to you.
No, definitely. And I tried to explain it to him too. It's there, you know, on the real estate side, you know, a lot of times they say, just fund it, just get docs, just do this. Well, there's a lot of things that go into it before we get to that point.
And that's beautiful, because you're able to share that with him. And he understands how that process works.
And you see it from the beginning, and it really starts the whole process. It's the buyer's agent, and then the listing agent. And the listing agent is the one that drives the train a lot of the time to make sure that that buyer's agent is on top of their lender for their client, and making sure that their client gets all those documents. Because in 2005, 6, 7, 8, no doc loan, you didn't have to prove that you had a job, etc.
Wow.
Now they do a process which now I see the work that goes on Jeannette and her side as the lender, that they have to source every deposit, every piece of money that comes from here or there, and they have to track it all, which should have been done in the first place.
Yes.
And that's why I believe the market's going to stay strong compared to what happened at the beginning. And everybody think there's going to be this implosion, et cetera, et cetera. We're starting to see in this time, being in October 2018 now, we're starting to see the leveling out because it's been a 10-year bull market.
We've seen that this week.
Interest rates are going on. We're starting to see more inventory coming on because the media's finally let on that, hey, we're pushing 10 years. People, if you're thinking of selling, you might want to do it now and make that move to downsize.
So for anyone watching at home, they can come to you guys if maybe they were part of that recession and they haven't gotten up to purchasing a home again. You know, a lot of people stayed with that fear.
One of the biggest things for anybody out there, they should always get a credit checkup. They should always check where their credit's at and see, can they refi now and maybe get a lower rate, or are they looking to buy, are they looking to invest? Now, I'm seeing a lot of my clients now have a lot more equity in their properties, and are they looking to invest within the means? And it has to make sense. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, God, yeah, I want to sell your home, or I want to buy your home. However, it doesn't make sense. Does it make financial and long-term sense to make that move? Is what I like to know. I always have to ask those questions. We go through a 20-point questionnaire on they're going to buy or they're going to sell. It doesn't matter either way, and I want to make sure it makes sense for them and their family.
And you guys are the experts, so I think it's great if anyone just has that thought, they can just come to you. You can let them know if that's a possibility.
They can call me 619-246-8946 or email me Lizarraga at s1lending.com.
One of the things I'm going to end here real quick is not all lenders and not all realtors are the same. And that's one thing that a lot of the people have that misconception. They think that everybody's the same, they do the same thing. You want to ask those important questions is really, how many transactions do you do, Mr. Realtor or Mrs. Lender? How many people did you help last year buy or sell? Can you send me a list of your references as well? And what exactly are you going to do to get me my loan? Or what are you going to do actually to sell my house? You want to see what is the steps. And it's always going back onto the to the knowledge of that expert, because they're not all the same. Not all lawyers are the same.
I don't think it gets better than number one, right?
No, that's true.
That's
However,
as good as it gets.
And you know, some people think numbers are numbers. That's great. It's really, you're paying me to sell your home basically on the experience that I've had for the last 15 years. And that right there is really where you want to ask for the references. And what's going to happen through our transaction, because it gets very emotional when we're dealing in the residential side. Commercial's a little different, but when residential, that's really the emotion where I'm going to have my family, I'm going to start my family, whatever it may be, and that's where we're going to live every single day. And you know, home is where you lay your head, really.
And what a better way than to have a couple like you guys. You guys understand, you guys have that connection. I think it's beautiful. Thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, now that we've gotten our daily dose of knowledge, it's time to wrap up this episode of Somos Uno. I want to thank our amazing guests, Tim Quinn, Jesus, and Antonio Estrada, and Carlos Gutierrez and Jeannete Lizarraga for being here today. For more content, you can head to our website at somosunotv.com and all of our social media sites. Also, you can't get enough of Somos Uno. You can always watch us and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you all for watching. I'm Lili Fifield. Don't forget, y que no se les olvide, we are one. Somos Uno.